Something is eating my leaves. These are my lima beans and my rattlesnake pole beans. And on the tops of them, they feel kind of slimy. So I think I got a slug problem. I need to get me a burr. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen. We are in the month of May and there's really not too much going on in the garden. One reason is I feel like it's been raining for like 3 weeks straight. I mean, rain is good, but I think our plants could use a break, but I'm thinking this week we should be getting about 3 days of no rain. So that'll be good for them because it has been raining non-stop here where we are in North Georgia. And so besides of all the rain, I mean, I did majority of all of my planting in April. So there's not going to be too much happening here in this month as far as planting goes. But I'm trying to use this downtime to really like pay attention to different things in the garden. And also just to kind of like troubleshoot and see, figure out some new things. So follow along and we can learn and grow together. I'm really trying to figure out these raspberries. Last year I purchased a couple of raspberry plants from Home Depot. And I thought I was buying golden raspberries. And that is not what I got. So I have really no clue what kind of raspberries these are. So I'm trying to like pay attention to what happened last year and what's happening this year to try and determine, okay, are they everbearing, summer bearing, floricanes, primicanes, all that fun stuff that comes with raspberries. So this is what I'm trying to figure out. Now I know the brown canes, these are year 2. So these are the floricanes, and these green canes, are the primicanes. These are first year. I didn't really pay too much attention last year when I first got these, and I planted them, but I did get some fruit last year. Like you can see here on this second year cane, I still have like some dried fruit on the tips. So that got me wondering, okay, if we are getting fruit on first year fruits, that would make these like an everberry. And like, look, see here, this is on a green stem and I'm getting little fruits on it. So that means that they're fruiting on their first year canes, but they are also fruiting on these brown canes as well. And that's where I'm getting confused, because they're, usually, like, my understanding of raspberries, like, majority of them produce on their second year canes. Like, I was not expecting fruit last year. So me getting a very little bit, there was not a lot, but I was getting some fruit. last year. So I still need to pay attention to this. And you know, all of these, like these are all brand new green shoots coming up. So if fruit forms on the tops of these, then I can be sure, pretty darn sure, that these are like everbearing primo cane fruiting varieties of raspberries. Because the primo cane, even though they are you know, they produce fruit on the first year, they will still produce fruit on the second year, which is kind of what we're seeing here. But they say they do it on the lower parts of the branch, and you don't get as much fruit on them as you do on the first year. So we're going to continue paying attention to that. But with how many, if this really is primo cane producing fruit, I am really hoping to get a lot more berries this year. I'm excited for that. Now my blackberries are different than my raspberries. I think these are the second year the floricanes producing fruit. Last year I had them and they grew and grew and grew, but they did produce no fruit or flowers. And look, you can see this year I've got all these flowers producing on them, and they are just like you know, really big. And I've noticed, you know, like down below, like look, we've got a new green cane coming up from the bottom. And so I think the blackberries are, at least those two. This one I got has a clearance free one. And I have no idea what kind this is, but it's producing fruit this year. I put it in the ground last year, so I don't know what this is either, but exciting. My squash is coming up that I planted, and what's funny is in these are my like tomato pepper beds, like mixture of everything. I planted squash plants or zucchini plants in each of these beds, 2 for each one. So as you can see, that one's coming up, but the one I planted over here has not. But over here, the same thing has happened. I have my squash popped up there, but not over there. I wonder if one of those seeds didn't work. And I didn't label them, so I don't know what kind it was. I don't know if you remember, but I had tried planting seeds that needed cold stratification here in this bed, and it like got completely washed out. But I have had a few survivors. I have found some purple coneflower, some hyssop, some lupine, some catnip. So I am actually going to take the plants that I found, and I'm going to scatter them throughout some of my other vegetable beds just to give them a better fighting chance, since this bed is just not ready yet. I don't think there's no saving my garlic. That is just too wet. Like, they are very tiny. I think these are just, it's a lost cause this year. My corn is starting to come through pretty good. So I think I'm going to plant in, I have some Blue Lake bush beans that I'm just going to kind of plant in the middle here, more for putting nitrogen back into the soil since corn is a heavy feeder. So I am hoping this is going to help get a better crop of corn this year. My vegetable perennial bed is starting to get a little full. I mean, granted, that is lettuce. I just wanted to use space. But if everything takes, I think this will look beautiful. My snow peas are starting to, you know, kind of yellow down at the bottom. I don't know if it's because of all the rain or if it's getting warmer, but I have noticed the peas, like, very quickly, they're starting to like puff up and get thick if you don't pick them right away, which is fine. You know, that just tells me the life cycle of the peas are going to be ending soon and just enjoy them while I can. But all of these, I'm letting them dry out, and I'm saving all of these seeds because these snow peas did so well for me. And just like that, we're in the end of May. So we're going to finish this video with a garden tour. I really did not get much done in the garden. It was a very busy month. We had birthdays, holidays, and also I had a child graduate from high school. So it's just been really busy. So I'm thankful that not a lot happened, but I really couldn't do much of anything because it like pretty much rained this whole entire month. So I'm taking a break in the rain now to get this garden tour done. These are my red potatoes. As you can see, they don't look so lush and happy. I think they are dying back. So I should be harvesting these probably here in the next couple of months. And I'm also, I have a bunch of dill that's growing in here. So I figured I'm probably just gonna harvest this dill whenever I harvest the potatoes. I got some cute little carrots here. I've got my yarrow and lemon balm here. And these are Yukon Gold potatoes. The leaves are starting to yellow, so I'm anticipating for these plants to start dying off here soon as well. Oh, hey buddy, how are you? Here are my blueberry bushes. As you can see, they are starting to change color, which is nice. And they're also kind of like this one, especially, he's growing some pretty good new growth here as well. I didn't plant very many flowers and I kind of felt bad, so I just created this little tiny circle bed and I planted a bunch of different like sunflowers, zinnias, cosmos, things like that in here. So I'm gonna have a little tiny flower bed. In here I've got my corn and onions. I did plant some bush beans in here as well to kind of help feed the corn. And in this bed, you can see I planted some little pepper transplants in here. And my pea plants, they're also starting to yellow and die back as well. I have been very happy with both of these pea plants. They have provided a good amount of peas. I've got about 3 quarts of peas in the freezer, quartz bags, and yeah, if I would have had my 3rd trellis going with the sugar snap peas, I think I would have had plenty. So next year, I think 3 trellises are going to be enough for our family. In this bed, I've got, these are my slicing tomatoes. What kind? I have no idea. And I planted a couple of green beans along there just to kind of help put some more nitrogen back in the soil. I planted some basil in here, but I don't really see any of that popping up. And I think that is borage or calendula. I forget. I also planted that in here as well. And then along, I have a bunch of different pepper plants all throughout here. And I have eggplants for those two. And I have now tried several times planting squash in both of these spots. And nothing's happening here in this corner of the bed, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. And this bed is similar to this other bed that I just did over here, but these are my cherry tomatoes. My cherry tomatoes look amazing up here. They look the best out of all of the tomatoes that I have. And in here, again, I did basil, which you can see I do have some basil popping up here, but not in the other bed. And then these are, I think it was borage. And then all these pepper plants. But look, the squash plant I planted there worked. I mean, why won't it work there, but it works here? I have no idea. Again, here are my lovely peas. I'm letting some stay on, so I'm letting them dry out, and I'm going to be saving seeds from these plants. This is where my spinach was. I pulled up all the spinach and I planted, this is radish. I planted in here because I figured it's getting some shade from these peas. And I've been harvesting my buttercrunch lettuce from in here. And I have some Swiss chard or beets popping up. I think I have a volunteer marigold right there. Over here, I tried planting some green beans and some tomatoes over there in the corner. And I think slugs are eating them. And I'm just going to have to replant some more stuff. Here's my volunteer sunflowers in the middle of nowhere. And again, here are my more Yukon Gold potatoes. Again, they're starting to yellow, but I also noticed I have these popping up that look a little bit different. And I'm wondering if, you know, last fall I planted purple potatoes that nothing did anything in here. I'm wondering if those are purple potatoes. So I'm hoping I might get a surprise harvest in here. And over there is my happy little fig tree. And look it. You got some baby figs up in there. How cute. This bed, I'm just really disappointed in this bed. It is a new bed that I did this year. I have tried planting cucumbers several times. They have sprouted, but they're just not getting much bigger. I just planted a couple weeks ago some more, so I'm hoping they'll do better. But like all the tiny little pepper transplants that I did, they're not growing. I have a couple, I think that was borage that I planted. And then maybe over here, maybe some like calendula that's popped up. But other than that, this bed is just really depressing. And this is my vegetable perennial bed. I've got my rhubarbs in the corners. I don't remember what that was, but I have a bunch of my asparagus, you know, they're starting to fern up. I also planted some perennial flowers in this bed too. I think that's just lettuce, extra seeds that I just figured I'd use the space. And I have 2 artichokes back there. I have these wild blackberries that keep popping up everywhere. I need to pull them out. But I also transplanted, like, those are some lupine, and then I got like some euthanasia in here as well. Well, this poor bed, my garlic I think was waterlogged. It didn't do well. These were the last couple that looked like they might be salvageable. So I'm just leaving them in here to see if I get any kind of garlic at all. I did plant some onion sets, and they are kind of sprouting in here. And I still have the leeks, the little sprigs of leeks, but they're just not really seem to be doing much either. This bed's doing pretty nice. Right here is my rattlesnake pole beans, and over there are lima beans. I was having a slug problem with them, but then I think they finally got tall enough to where I don't have that problem anymore. I also planted, I've got some more radish in here. And over here along this side, this is all red okra. And then in this bed, I've got green okra along this side. I had, I think they were called provider beans. They were from like 2016, so I figured, I'm just going to toss them in here, see if they grow. It's been a couple of weeks, and I don't even see a single thing sprouting, so they're probably old, just too old of seeds. But I do have, these are different varieties of winter squash, so I'm going to hopefully train them up this trellis. And I forget what plant this is too, but it has very pretty purple flowers. And then here is my raspberry bed. It's doing well. It is getting overgrown. I have decided I am going to be, in fall of this year, I'm going to be moving my strawberries out of here. The raspberries, it's just too much. You can't share a bed. So I'll be moving all of them, and then this is all thyme. I'm probably going to relocate all the thyme. And I do have some chives and some sage back here in these corners. But, the raspberries, they do like this spot. And I've been snacking on some every day. This bed here, I just let all the cilantro go to seed, flower, since I don't have a lot of flowers going. I do have, these are San Marzanos and peppers, and then all those pretty San Marzanos along the trellis there. And I think I also planted, I got some thyme, and I have some borage and basil kind of all scattered throughout this bed. This was my cabbage bed. I still have these cabbages that are just being very slow to grow. They say they are all seasons cabbage, so I'm just going to see if they make a cabbage or not. If not, oh well. I did plant a squash here, and it's starting to come up. This is Napa cabbage. And it looks pretty nice, pretty full. I don't know if it's going to survive the heat. And I did also plant some more okra over here on this side of the bed as well. And here's my brassica bed. I harvested all of those radishes there, and I replanted them, so they're starting to come up. These are purple kohlrabi and regular kohlrabi. And then I have broccoli over here. I doubt I'm going to get anything out of all those, but I am look at this rutabaga, guys. Look at that bad boy. And I'm also, look at him. He's cute. He's cute too. For kohlrabi. So we'll see if I am able to harvest something out of this bed, so it's not for nothing. And here is my blackberry herb bed. All of my blackberries, the flowers, are now turning into little berries, which is exciting. And of course, all the herbs in this bed have done really well. I've got all that oregano, the sage, lemon balm, chives, rosemary. They all like it over here and are doing very well. And finally, this poor last bed. These are all Roma tomatoes, except for this one. I don't know if that's a Spoons or a cream sausage tomato. I don't like that name of a tomato. But anyways, it's funny. My Roma tomatoes over here are all doing, pretty good. But over here, as you get further on down the line, not so much. I also there's been all the rain, it has been washing out. So we put an extra little bit of wood on the edge there to try and help hold in the soil. But as you can see, I've got my nasturtiums are popping up along the edge. I have some basil and borage that are also popping up in this bed as well. I'm just disappointed in the tomatoes, because I put everything in me getting Roma tomatoes this year, and my San Marzanos are doing much better. So, you know, these sad Roma plants, yeah. I have a friend who has one of them indoor aqua water whatever's, I don't know, she's been starting seeds and they go a lot faster. So she actually gave me I think she gave me this one and this one that she had started in that because mine weren't doing so well. So she's starting more for me, so that way hopefully I can fill this spot back up and have plenty of tomato plants. So that's a wrap on this week's video. That was my garden. Like I said, not a lot happened this month, but I'm kind of thankful that it was kind of low-key, and I'm thankful for all the rain, and I'm hoping that next month things are going to be more lush and a lot of harvesting is happening. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next video.